What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another DanMachi Memoria Freese video. My name is DFree, and in this video, we are going to go ahead and rank these units here. So not that one, well, yes, but that's not what I meant. These two banners worth of units, we're going to go ahead and rank them and talk about what they're good at, things they're not so good at, and just try to break them down in relation to other units that are currently in the game as well. So I hope you all enjoyed today's video. If you are new, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button and stick around for more content here on the channel on DanMachi Memoria Freese. Otherwise, at any point, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Maybe something I missed, forgot about, overlooked, or things of that nature. Also, anything you agree with, disagree with, and just let me know in the comment section at any point. Feel free to. And otherwise, like I said, I want to point out that this is my preference, my opinion. So, you know, I might say that your waifu, one you love the most, is the worst one, but you know, she's probably the best to you, and that's fair. But I do want to point out that I think that all these units are good in their own way, but of course, if I'm going to rank them, somebody has to be at the bottom, and that doesn't mean it's bad, it's just somebody has to be at the bottom, and wow, what a fourth shadow! Alright, so, to begin, my unit that I put at the bottom of my list is Lily. So, let me go ahead and break down Lily for you. She's a healer class unit, so that's different. Those aren't, like, I would say that the healers, they're really, actually, I think most of the Lilies are healers now that I think about it. They're really, really good. It's just, they kind of get caught up, in my opinion, trying to do other things, and if they don't do the other things super well, then it really hampers what they're good at, and that's kind of the only thing they can really do. I would prefer the hybrid type units, the balanced types, that are able, like Chigusa, for example. I did my top 5 healers video, or top healers video, or whatever, previously, and she was really high on my list. I would prefer those types of units, and that's why I said preference, because maybe you are somebody that prefers the natural healers, like this character that has a little bit more flavors otherwise, but I would prefer the characters personally that are able to do a nice amount of healing and a few other intangible things. So when we max her out, if you were to max her out, she has really, really solid stats actually. Double S in dexterity. Would have preferred for that to be double S in agility instead, and then S in dexterity, but it's not that big of a deal. S in agility and then double S in magic. Of course, the magical stat helps her out tremendously for what she's good for. So bouncing over to her abilities. So her first ability is an ultra light magical attack. This is her special. Nothing on here. This could have at least boosted her magic or something minor. Maybe a status ailment or debuff or something, but no. Very, very, very generic. Next skill, low heal and ailment cure. Now, there are several Lilies in the game. I think there's about 3 of them or so, 2 or 3 of them, that do this exact same heal. So that in and of itself kind of devalues his character for me, in my opinion, just because there's so many units that do this exact same, literally the exact same text here. If not, I think there's one that also does a mid heal and ailment cure. But regardless, the ailment cure and heal combo is actually one of the better heals you can get just in general. I will give her that. I think that that's a really, really good combination, and earlier on in the game, it really, really helped tremendously whenever poison was super prevalent in things like war games, and, you know, sleep is still a thing with the Dionysus assist, or however you pronounce it. But there are a lot of different status elements that still run rampant, especially, you know, another thing too is like the stun that you would get, and I believe Record Buster, and just, so that's really good. That's our best ability. Moving down, negative pill. Unfortunately, this is a single target move, so only thing she can do, if you're keeping track, is hit for a single target move that can, in essence, inflict a status ailment, which is great. Single target moves, in my opinion, otherwise you would want a multi-target move, but she has the multi-target ally boost moves, the next two that we're going to talk about here, the heal and then the one we're going to talk about next. And then otherwise, her other ability is the magical resistance plus 20%. Meh, I guess. You know, It's not like, I can see where that can be good, but no, I don't think it's that great, just off the bat. So that's my opinion on Lily. I think she's good. I think she's good at niche things like healing, and which that's what she's supposed to be good at anyway, so I'm not going to hold that against her. But in a game where there are other characters that are better than her at doing what she does, basically, that, in my opinion, obviously would lower her value. So moving on to my next character, and this pains me. We're moving on to Ice, wherever she is. There she is. Can I click? There we go. So, Ice. She is a balanced type character. She is a mage, basically. She uses magical abilities. So when we max her out, these are how her stats break down. Double S in magic, which is great. A lot of times with the balanced types, they'll get S's across the board. So they spared some of the S's in the first couple of stats. So I would have preferred for maybe endurance S and strength A, but whatever. But she has double S's in magic, so that is really, really good for this character because she's able to fight off some of that issue that I've talked about with balance types, where it's like, well, a balance type character that only does magical type moves, doesn't do a blend of magic and physical, doesn't necessarily need that higher strength stat. Now, I will acknowledge that the higher strength stat, and I still think this way, I'll acknowledge that the higher strength stat does allow for them to have higher penetration rates, I believe. Also, the stat distribution allows for them to be a bit more balanced because, as you see, she's a balanced type character with a double S already. Like, if they were to take that and make her an F or whatever low rank in strength and allocate those points over to magic, then maybe she becomes, like, somewhere equivalent to what would be a triple S, which isn't a thing. So, you know, there's a reason why they do it. Bouncing over to her abilities here, her special is Ultra Light Magical Attack with a 30% chance to seal. That's really, really good. Sealing is really, really, really nice to have as an option. And if you're going to give me basically a generic attack, and this is what I talked about with Lily, the Ultra Light Magic Attack is as generic as it gets, right? If you're going to, and of course, having the element on the attack is nice to have, on the element on the magical attack, but still, I digress. Very, 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 very generic. If you're going to give me that, I would like some sort of status ailments or debuff or ally boost or just natural magic boost to the unit individually, something. And that's really nice. So all enemies get a 30% seal chance, and that could be super clutch. Super, super clutch in a lot of different modes. So her first combat skill is a single target, fast, mid-light magical attack. So it's a fast move, so she's going to be one of the first characters to launch her attack off, which is nice. Unfortunately, it's single target, so I can't really say that I would use that one a whole lot. But I can say that in modes where there's only one opponent, where it doesn't matter if you're targeting multiple opponents or not, you're going to be able to be doing some very, very consistent damage with that. So that's nice to have in that scenario. It could have just been mid-light magic, but again, adding that fast on there does help. Contempt Mech, she has the ability to hit all enemies, which is another thing I talked about with Lily. Highlight magical attack with a magical boost as well. So not only does she hit all enemies, she also gets a magical boost. And then Prevent Wind. So allies get a guard rate increase of 30% and 30% endurance for 4 turns. So this is a really, really interesting ability in tandem with other units that are good at, you know, buffing defense or applying barriers, essentially, like the Asfi that's really, really good that I like to use. She's able to, this character here is able to really add a lot of defensive support to your team. And if you're in a really hard mode, maybe this is one of the things that can prevent you from losing and help you sustain through the event. So I thought that, you know, maybe a heal skill would be good here as well, but I'm not going to knock her for this because this is really nice. That's a nice ability to have. So that also couples well with the assist characters that are able to do similar things. So that's a nice ability, especially because it's for all allies for 4 turns. It could have been a 2-turn thing, and 30% is just modest enough. So she ranks right there for me. Next, of course, we do have the sisters, and I'm going to come back to the assists after. So as far as the sisters go, this one is actually really, really close for me. It's more of a 1A, 1B type thing, not opposed to 1 and 2. So it's more like 1A, 1B. So if we're going to look at 1B, my unit is going to be Tiona, actually. And I think that there's a legitimate claim for Tiona to be better than Tion, and I think that it's probably more so situational. And she's a physical attack type. They both are, I believe. Double S's in the 2 most important stats, so that's nice to see. Moving over to her abilities, Ultra Physical Attack with a temporary strength boost on all enemies is who she hits, but she, of course, gets that boost herself, so that's nice. Again, very, very generic, but I'll take it because she also gets the boost, which helps her out in the long run. It's not, I would say, though, it's not really necessary because all of her other abilities are basically boosting her strength, and this is where this character becomes really, 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 really reminiscent of units like Belle, the newer Belle that came out in the anniversary. And units like Sparkle Princess Eyes. She's kind of like that same kind of unit, which is what really held her from being at the top, just because I felt like there were too many units that did basically the exact same thing. And if you look at her link package, she has Belle's ability, basically, that's plus 75% for 4 turns to herself, and that's really, really nice to have. It allows for her to output very, very well. So she's a really hard-hitting unit. She's going to be very good in a lot of situations, especially particularly if you don't have the other units that I mentioned that are good at doing basically the same thing as this character. But she has a single target high physical attack with a strength boost. She also has an AoE attack, and that's one of the things that was important too. I always look for these units to have the AoE attacks because a lot of times you are facing more than one opponent. In fact, most of the time I would say. So she also has the added bonus of having a chance to inflict stun. So not only does she hit all enemies for a high physical attack and get a temporary strength boost. So it's literally her top move that I'm showing right now, but better. And then on top of that, she also has a chance to stun each one of them, a 15% chance to stun. Again, ailments are a bonus. This is always nice. When they give ailments against all type attacks, that's nice to see. So that's how this unit breaks down for me. Again, very generic for the most part in relation to some of the other units we've seen. And that's kind of what, again, knocked her down a little bit. But by no means is that me saying that she is not the best. Because, like I said, it's 1A, 1B. You can go either way. And that's really a testament to that type of archetype of character in this game, just in general, in my opinion. So moving over to Tion, and I want to kind of talk about her. And no, I didn't pick her because I like her better. But anyways, same stat distribution for the most part. Basically the same thing. Both physical attack types. So ultimate or special is the same. Ultra physical attack with a temporary strength boost. Next ability, single target with a 30% chance to seal on a high physical attack. Next ability, Armor Rampage. This is where I kind of like this. These two abilities are where I like this unit a little bit better. They're both AoE, all targets, as opposed to just single target. Mid physical attack with a temporary strength boost and ailment resistance minus 40%. So we were kind of, and this is where this unit is good because it seems like they're meant to be used in tandem. Like, her and her sister, basically. Or units that can do kind of what Tiona was doing. So, when you can hit all of the opponents and reduce their ability to resist status ailments, and I've spent a long time in this video already talking about how good status ailments are. When you can take away their ability to resist said ailments, that is a bonus, because I don't think there are a lot of units in the game that can do what she is doing right here. And also, she's netting more additional attack, getting additional attack by getting the strength boost. So this ability right here is really, really, really good in tandem with a lot of units. For example, one unit that I love to use and that comes to mind is a unit like Hermes and Hermes. That unit is a really, really good stun type unit, and she works really well with him. So that is one of the things that I really like about this character. Moving on to her final ability, mid-physical attack with 50% taunt and self-endurance plus 40%. So this ability is really unique because there are not a lot of taunt units in the game. I think there's only like literally a few of them, including this unit. My favorite one would be Welf. In fact, Welf might be the only other one. I don't want to make that claim because I could be forgetting one person or two, but there are not very many is the point. And again, unlike the Tiona, there are a lot of units that kind of do what she does for the most part. So to break this one down, this is a mid-physical attack. Tiona, by the way, otherwise is hitting harder than Tion. I think that Tion has a higher attack stat, but these are mid-physical, and I think that the other unit does the high physical for the most part. This one can do high physical, but it would be a single target move. So if you're looking for more of a, again, offensive unit, this one's more of a intangible support type unit for the most part. But what she does here is she hits all enemies and then turns on a taunt for them. So they all would target her. 50% chance to taunt them, and if you taunt them again, all the other units target this character. All the opponents target her, which is great. So she's gonna sit there, and then on top of that, she increases her defense by 40% for 4 turns. In tandem with a unit like Asfi that can increase or decrease the amount of damage this unit would take here, she's really, really good. And this in like War Game, for example, is wild because if you pop that off, of course, she might not survive more than a couple of turns, but that might be all you need to kind of clear your opponent's board out. You see what I mean? So this ability, these two abilities right here, just in general, are really good. They have a lot of flexibility to them as well. So that's what I would kind of consider the best as far as the adventurers go. And I'm going to very, very, very briefly gloss over the assists just because there's not a lot I really have to say because I think they're phenomenal. If you have the opportunity to get the assists, go for it. If you have the opportunity to spend more and get them limit broken in some way, shape, or form, go for it. More so the assists because I think the assists are better than the adventurers, which is almost always the case in a lot of scenarios. But yeah, if you have the opportunity, go for it, especially because they're time limited, by the way. They're not going to be available later until, like, I guess maybe next summer. So if you want to go for it, go for it. This is really nice too. Foes minus 15% strength. She's really good, especially if you were either not having this character or you wanted an alternative, because they basically do the same thing. It's just the difference is this one is a support for magical type units. And of course, if you didn't know, you'd want to match up the assist character's main stats with the character that they're assisting, their main stats. So if you're using a mage, of course you would use this Hestia and not the other one. If you're using a physical type unit, you would use the other Hestia, and that's kind of the trade-off. And we move over to Seer. I would actually say that I think Seer is probably more valuable. Just not that I think magic is more valuable to debuff than the physical types. I think that physical types will always be more prevalent in the game, but I don't think that I don't think there's a lot of opportunity to get a character like this just in general. So go for Seer as well if you can. She is more of an all-arounder too. She's one of those assists that doesn't have a preference. She can just support anybody because her main focus is endurance, which is pretty cool as well on a character like this in particular. So that's basically how this breaks down. I don't really have a lot to say, like I said, about the assists because I think they're the best characters otherwise, but I mainly wanted to rank the adventurers. There are going to be some more swimsuit units that come out in the future. I did see that there was a video about that, and I know that Technia also did a video about that as well, kind of reporting that. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you were new, and I will catch you all in the next DanMachi Memoria Freese video.